In this sport, you don't wait for judges to decide your fate. TenexToken puts you in control. Stake instantly, speculate discreetly, and keep your moves private. TenexToken. Play smart, play discreet. Why have you got a hat on?
Because I've just been to the gym and I haven't done my barnet and it's all over the gaff.
So vain, aren't you?
I haven't had a chance for any crafty combing. So
What is the hatch? Put it down. Oh, LA. Okay.
actually, I forgot the other day. I quite like the colour. I think it's snide, to be fair, but
What? Why is a multi-millionaire stroke billionaire wearing a snide LA hat?
just walked past it and I thought I needed a hat and I thought I like that hat.
It's
You know,
actually right.
I've got a massive head and only certain hats fit on my head. And these New Era caps, probably not even New Era, to be fair. And I thought that's a nice colour. But then I actually thinking about it, never seen this colour before, which would lead me to suggest it is snide.
Well, it looks all right anyway. What's
Thank
the
you.
what's the worst day you've ever had in your life?
The worst day.
Yeah, whether it's boxing or like whatever. What's the worst day? And then how did you cope with it?
The worst day, one of the worst days,
Go on.
I got my GCSE results. Well, no, actually, what happened was you needed, get this right, 6 GCSEs from A to C to get into
Some
the
Mines.
no, the sixth form at Brentwood,
Not some Mines.
not St Martin's.
Okay.
And but if you were good at sport, they'd always kind of let you in. Do you know what I mean? And I was playing first 11 cricket when I was like 14 or 15. So I was going to go on and be the best cricketer in the school by a mile. I got 5 GCSEs from A to C, and then the rest were D's. I think a few E's as well. And my old man went up to school. Now, bearing in mind, there are a few times where I would be in the assembly at school and they'd be doing these like end of year awards and they would go and the high achievement sporting award sponsored this year by Matchroom, and I'd think, wonder why dad's sponsoring those events. Anyway, that was basically to keep me in the school. And he went up to school when I got the 5 because you're supposed to get 6.
Mm.
And he went, listen, obviously he's missed by 1, but cricket wise, you know what I mean? Hell of a player.
Yeah.
And they went, nah, that's your lot. And that weren't a great day. Then I went to Havering College,
Yeah.
right? Now, Havering College is in Romford. Very, very different to my previous education at Brentwood.
Right.
It actually ended up being a godsend for me, honestly. But when my mum dropped me there on the first day, she actually said that when I got out of the car, she just started crying because it was like, it's like, it's just very different there.
What car did your mum drop you in there?
My mum is a bit of a girl racer,
Yeah.
right? I mean, not really in the sense of what you'd expect from a girl racer, but she loves fast cars and she'll only drive a manual. I mean, who drives a manual now, firstly? I mean,
Back then, like
what?
50
No,
years,
now. I'm talking
50
about
years
now.
ago.
I
Yeah.
won't tell you her age because she won't be happy, but she's in her 70s, right?
Right.
Even now, she has got a BMW manual. She won't drive an automatic. I think it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
What was the motor then? Like 50.
She had a Capri.
All right, then, boy.
Oh, for it. Aston Martin Tickford Turbo.
What the fuck is that?
You can actually buy it. It's still like the actual one. There was 100 made by Aston Martin.
Aston Martin Capri.
Yeah, Tickford Turbo it was called. Let me just show you.
What was it worth back then? Because I bet it's worth a
I've
lot
no
more now.
idea. I've no idea.
But it
Right?
must be worth a lot more now.
This That is the actual car,
I
right?
like it.
That's the actual car. E511. Oh no, that's a different plate. No, maybe actually that's a different car. Hold on. Uh, Basically, yeah, that is the car. Different plate. Yeah. And actually back in the day it was like you're talking 30 years ago. It was actually quite.
Years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so she dropped me there and actually say that I would say that my life changed forever at Havering College, to be honest with you. Like, I think it did me so many favours going there. So many favours. Because I was a right prat and I was Jack the lad. Probably like, although my dad tried to not spoil me, like, I grew up well. And I kind of had a little bit of a problem with authority, which I don't know. Sometimes you look back on your childhood and think, why was I like that? Maybe it was a bit of insecurity, being honest. I don't know. Like,
You didn't
got
like to be told what to do.
yeah, by people that I probably didn't respect and I should have respected because it's just rude and ignorant. But I was like hanging around with all these fighters and going to these shows and traveling with my dad and I would listen to a teacher tell me off and think, who are you, teacher? Like, I've just been to Vegas for Naz versus Pereira. What are you up to? Which is actually that makes me cringe. But I wasn't a bad kid. I just was in that life that I was probably, I don't know. But anyway, when I went to Havering College, I've told this story before, people are probably bored of it, but there's no authority. And basically, we started off, there was like 25 people in the class. And after about a week, there was about 10. And everyone was just downstairs, either messing around, smoking weed outside, like whatever. And I said to my business studies lecturer, Mr. Furness, Nigel Furness, never seen him again since the school. So if you're still alive, Nigel,
Big up,
and you're
Nigel.
watching this, how are you, mate? A nice fella he was. And I
Nigel,
said,
you got 2 tickets to Conor Ben and Eubank, yeah?
well, no, I was going to say you're call tomorrow night, but you've only got, sorry, Friday night, but you've only got 48 hours. And I said to him, can I just ask you, like, what happens if you don't attend? And he went, what do you mean? I said, well, obviously the class has halved already. He said, it's up to you, isn't it? If you don't want to learn or you don't want to get an education or qualifications. So it's up to you. And I just basically, I didn't have one friend at that college for 2 years, if I'm honest.
Must have
No,
been.
there was one geezer called Phil from East Ham.
Can he have 2 tickets to Eubank, Ben?
No, but he was a nice fella, he was. He had curtains down to about here. Phil, if you're out there, right, mate?
Eubank Ben,
Um,
yeah?
all I used to do with Phil was go up to the corner on Hornchurch and have a crusty baguette with turkey and ketchup. That was my favourite. No
Oh,
wonder I'm a
fucking
lump.
horrendous.
Oh, it was so nice. Sometimes they put stuffing in as well. Me and Phil done that, but socially never went out with anyone from college. It's mad for 2 years. And every break time, I just go in the library and study and work.
Study
And
what? Study what?
I did business studies, media studies, and PE. Now, before you laugh about PE, it's mainly chemistry, biology and anatomy, and it's not easy. But anyway, I did really well. Yeah. So anyway, your question, what was my worst day? I don't know where we're going with this, but
When
yeah,
you
AJ losing to like from a work point of view, AJ losing to Ruiz was pretty bad.
worse than Dubois, be honest.
What it was I was inexperienced then, so I was a bit naive. So because I'd been through losses and how how to deal with it on the night with the fighter, with the media, with everything, the Dubois one, it just hurt, it kills you inside. But you're like, you know, right, this is where we go to work now. But with the Ruiz loss, honestly, I was actually just numb. Like,
Who picked him? Be honest.
I mean,
Who
the
picked
team, the
Ruiz as the
team
replacement?
will always. the team will always pick
That's
as
not fast. That's not
trainer.
fast.
Well, if you ask who picked him, then I would have to say Rob McCracken and AJ
Right.
because they we had a group, but I put him forward with fighters for sure. I was happy with the opponent. Rob was, AJ was physically, he had some injuries going into that fight that's never really been discussed. I mean, nothing to the point of when he was like, what was it? He was getting massaged in the ring and he had to change. He was collapsing in the change room. Absolute bollocks. He had to change his jock strap in the change room. His guard. That was it. But he was nowhere near 100%. And I didn't know that really as much till after. And but we shouldn't really have fought Ruiz, if I'm honest. It was probably a bad pick. I say that now. I mean, it led to the biggest payday of his career. And in the end, everything was great because he won the rematch and he made a fortune. But it was probably a bad pick at the time. I've said this before as well. Don King phoned me up and he said, "You got to fight our guy, Trevor Bryant." And I was like, "Don, I'm not being funny. It'll be all over in a round." And he went, "Yeah." He said, "Why would you fight Andy Reid? He's really good and he looks terrible, like in his shorts." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's a good fight." And he was like, "No, look, AJ's coming to America. Just fight my guy. You knock him out in a round." And it's like, man, I said, "But we're sold out at Madison Square Garden. I can't come to America with that fight. I know it's a joke fight." And we went with Andy Reese, and that was it.
I remember seeing you because you had another show. Golovkin was fighting who?
Week after we were promoting Golovkin, I had to stay in New York that week.
Yeah, and it was your birthday week as well. I remember seeing you. You looked like literally you wanted to go and throw yourself off somewhere.
it was my 40th birthday,
Yeah.
and it was a lonely week. Yeah. Um,
And you, that's the first time you had to see the media after Joshua's loss as well.
yeah. Um, but that was up the whole thing when I got the call that Jarrell Miller had tested positive. Oh, I remember that feeling. I was just like, I couldn't speak. Went into the other room, and I'm just sitting on the bed going, "Fuck!" Like now I've got to call everyone. What do we do? We've sold out Madison Square Garden. The build-up was brilliant,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
and I'm thinking, I can't believe this. Um, but one thing I've learned is the more you put yourself in difficult positions, or the more stuff like that happens to you, or anything like that happens to you, the easier it gets next time. And now I feel seasoned now. I don't feel like anything could happen in boxing that I couldn't deal with.
Don't say that.
No, I don't. I mean,
Don't.
I'm, yeah, I don't know. No, but look, obviously the Conor Ben stuff was, when you say about what was your worst day, I mean, that was more like months. That was a pretty rough time, to be fair. But here's what it is. It's like, if you want to, if this is the life you choose, don't moan with all the shit that comes with it. It's just, it is what it is. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days.
Do you think people don't really give a fuck about what you go through because they think, oh, no, look at the money he's earning? Do you think that?
Yeah, but I'm lucky, aren't I? I mean,
No, but you can still
how
go
much
through
and
shit.
look,
I'm saying, do
you
you
have,
think
of
people
course,
don't care because of,
listen, it doesn't matter what you've got, how much you've got, what your job is, what you're going to have terrible days in every form and shape of your life. There's no one, people, there's always this perception that people who have got loads of money or massive businesses, oh, no, no, actually, with that comes aggravation.
more so sometimes.
Because people are trying to fuck you all the time. People are trying to ruin you. People are like it's a corrupt world in general, and that corruption doesn't really hit a certain level of people, or I say corruption's the right word, but just evil, really, honestly. And that's but I've just come to realize that you can't really overthink. The problem is now with Instagram and social media, it's all this like gratitude and read this and great life and like it's all bollocks. The reality is you're going to have good days and bad days. And I said that I think it was with Colm the other day. This too shall pass. This too shall pass when things are good, and this too shall pass when things are bad. And when things are shit, you know better time. Like, how many times you asked me the question when they had a bad day? Things have always got better. But also, when you have a good day, things are going to get worse as well. That's the roller coaster of life. That's the game of life. So stop looking for perfection because it don't exist. It will never exist. You can do your best and you can hope for that you live a great life. But the reality is, bad things are going to happen. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And the more you are deluded to that, and the more you think, oh, I just can't seem to get it right. These things keep happening to me. Yes, they're going to happen to you. This is life. But I actually I laugh when people say like, they don't think there's any aggravation in your life just because you're doing well. I mean, I've got aggravation all day, every day, but it's different kind of aggravation, isn't it? It's high pressured aggravation in a business world, and it's competitive and it's cutthroat. I'm lucky. I don't have other problems that some people might have. So yeah. And if you want to be top end, if you want to be high level, if you want to be elite, all the shit comes with it. So you can't moan about it. Oh, it's not going my way at the moment. Oh, I'm not feeling very well. Oh, no. Yes, sometimes I'm down. And sometimes I'm up. And right now, I'm all right. Come back from America. I was buzzing last week. Get tired a little bit. Go back. Fly to London tomorrow. I'm buzzing for your call. Buzzing for it. Buzzing for it. Do you know we haven't done a show there since 2019?
Who was that?
It was Richard Riakporhe against Jack Massey. How mad is that? I've
Headline.
got, I've actually just got to check that. Yeah, headline. I think it's a British group.
You've never had either of them fighters.
2019. Yeah, Riakporhe we used to work with.
Don't remember that, to be
We
honest.
did. December, December the 19th, 2019
That's
was
the
the
yeah, that's when Joshua fought Ruiz, wasn't it? The week after
yeah,
the rematch, yeah.
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 So what about that? We went from unifying the heavyweight world title and winning the rematch in the biggest purse in the history of the sport, probably at the time, to Richard Riakporhe against Jack Massey. It's a good fight, actually. I remember. Um, I can't wait to be back there. I'm buzzing for the card.
Right,
I'm buzzing.
we're gonna talk about the card in just a second. I just want to clear up a couple of things first of all, right? You put a post on your Instagram earlier on today, and I fucking love this post, by the way. Um, it was a picture of, I think, a tiger in the middle of two greyhounds, dogs, whatever, and it says at the top of it, it says, "Sometimes trying to prove that you are the best is an insult." Right? You remember posting that?
Yeah.
That's a fucking great. That's a great fuck. That's probably one of the best things you posted. To be fair, yeah.
I like reposting a lot of stuff like that. I think
Why did you post that? Why?
I like the picture. I it was a little bit self not praising, but like I'm the best in the world. I don't really have to prove it. I will prove it because that's what I do. But I felt that the picture was like a reflection of these other people in the industry. And I'm just like a chilled lion. Do you know what I mean?
Or tiger? Was it tiger or lion?
Lion.
A lion. Sorry.
Yeah, just like going off you go, boys. You know, screaming out the traps, and then the lion just kind of gets up and goes, "Catch you later." Yeah, I just liked it. It wasn't a message to the industry. It was just, it's kind of like if you believe in yourself, don't waste your time trying to prove yourself to other people. You don't need to. Just know that you're the best, and you will naturally prove it with your quality.
I read this wrong because I read this as you sitting there instead of the lion and going, "Look at all these other fucking cunts gang doing their thing. I'm still
Excuse me. I
fucking
mean,
number one."
no, but
Is that no?
I mean, that's also a translation of it. Not quite as blue as that, but that, yeah, I mean, that's the same thing, really.
I like it.
I also like posting things like that because I know it'll wind people up. Because I do think a lot of those reposts are quite cringy and stuff like that. But I actually, like, I would imagine there'll be a lot of people that open that and go, cringe or prick.
Or
That,
or who's he talking about?
yeah, I wouldn't really do it for that. But like, there is a little bit of me that would post that and go, it's quite amusing. But
Because you're quite emotionless, aren't you? You are.
maybe.
You are. I think you're very cold and emotionless. I think we see when one of your fighters
No,
win
but
or losing, we see kind of that emotion on the camera or whatever. But I think you're a bit of an emotionless prick, to be honest with
well,
you.
then if you see all that, I'm not emotionless, am
I don't
I?
take no, but I think you're. I think there's like something wrong with you in that respect, where there's something missing from your life in terms of
Maybe, but that's sometimes when you look back. I do often think that there was a bit in the Netflix series where people were talking about, therapy and stuff like that. And I do think that yeah, I'm probably quite a naturally cold person.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong. I also posted, did you see that other thing where that guy goes around and he sees if people help him out because he's pretending that he's homeless
yeah,
or whatever. I mean, that sort of stuff does me in like a kipper. I'm like welling up. So I'm actually like, I don't know. I think I'm soft in areas, but I just think it's how I've been built. And I do think that boxing has done that to me, if I'm honest. I think boxing gives you a false perception of the world sometimes in terms of the disappointment and in terms of how people treat you and the loyalty that's in the sport, in my opinion. Like, there's not many people I trust in boxing. And what that's done is that's probably made me have the same mentality in other sports or other areas, I don't know, in life. Does that make sense?
yeah. Boxing's
Because when
got
you
a
get
lot.
let down all the time and when people show you disloyalty and when you hanging around quite often dogs, it's just life becomes a little bit, I mean, like literally nothing surprises me.
So, have you ever done anyone wrong? I know you've spoken about this person, that person, and a lot of other promoters and people in boxing. But have you in your heart of hearts, have you thought actually I did him a little bit wrong there, or
No, I've never
didn't deliver what I promised, or
No, I've never deliberately turned anyone over or, like we just don't do that. If I feel like someone has shown me like loyalty is also a two-way street, right? It's like I can't expect someone just to be loyal for the sake of being loyal. They've got to look after their career. But when we've done right by you, when we've respected you, when we've taken care of you, when we've given you every opportunity, you just expect that back. And when you don't get that or someone shows me that side of them or that disloyalty, you talk about being emotionless. That's when my emotion goes.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I am so motivated for the fighters that I have a good relationship with, right? The ones that I believe in, the ones that, and people talk about AJ and stuff like that. Yes, of course, it helps that he's one of the biggest stars in the sport. But the loyalty that he's shown me, is in a situation where, like, I truly believe that, he would be, I trust him up there with more than anybody in the sport. And, for me, it's so important. And that's why you see me back him like I do, you know. So when you show that, actually, that's when you see me going mental, that's mostly for people that I've got a good relationship with and I trust them. And do you know what I mean?
let me
Like,
ask a different question quickly, right? While you're on this wavelength for talking like this, there is a
what is this therapy?
it is turning into this. We haven't even fucking spoken about boxing yet.
This is going to go downhill.
There is a perception about you, right, compared to 10 years ago, that now you're not giving fighters the time to actually build, etc. You're throwing them fucking in to see whether they sink or swim. earlier
No.
than what you would have done 10 years.
Earlier, yes, yes. Because when I feel like maybe one of the people say to me, "What's the biggest misconceptions of you in the sport?" It is my knowledge of the sport. Even Frank Warren says this, when now we're talking, it's like people say to him, "What surprised you the most?" Actually, how much he knows about boxing. I've always been a student of the sport. You've got managers that come into the sport now that have been around the sport for 3, 4, 5 years, coming from a different business, different industry. I've been watching boxing since I was 8 years old. And I'm not talking about on TV. I'm talking about championship fights. I've been in changing rooms. I've been around spars. I've been in training camps since that age, nearly 40 years. So because the business has got bigger, yeah, I don't want to mess around. I don't want to just marinate a fighter's career, giving them, I want to step them up. And if they're not good enough, one, they might get beat, and two, maybe they're not what we want in terms of the quality of the fighters we want at Matchroom, right? By the way, we never say to a manager or a trainer, right, this is the fight you're having, and there's no other options. Well, now we might say this we think is the perfect fight for you. Oh, it's a little bit early in our career. We don't think so. But then sometimes I'll have to back down and we'll do something else. And there's been loads of situations like that recently where I've given in, where perhaps I shouldn't have, because you have to give the fighter time to develop. But of course, that comes naturally with your position in the market and the stable of fighters that you have. When you've got a dozen fighters, yeah, maybe you're giving them easier fights. Do you know what that also translates to? Shit TV product,
Right.
right? And I think maybe if there's any changes, it is probably my desire to make better fights and a better product on TV. The reality is, people don't want to watch shit one-sided fights.
Does it always come down to, not always, but does it sometimes can come down to how much you've invested in that fighter? And Ben Whittaker is a great example of this. Ben Whittaker's been pro now for a while, so you're not taking somebody
He's
who's,
had 10 fights.
but
I mean, this is
he's still not new to it. But like he's had
no,
those 10 fights and he's had the Liam Cameron like double fights. But you're now
yeah,
taking him on. So is it a case of you're investing heavily into Ben Whittaker, but at the same time you're not going to chuck him in with like
no, but that's the thing. No, look, the you
heavyweight
have to.
champion?
What you have to do is when you make an investment like that, and when you've got a fighter you believe in, like Ben Whittaker, you have to give him the opportunity to build himself into those fights. Right at the moment, the only true competitive fight that he has had is against Liam Cameron.
Is,
Right?
is the opponent you're putting him in with a step up from Liam Cameron, in your opinion?
I think he'd beat Liam Cameron personally, but I think it could be a 50-50 fight. The guy's WBC international champion. He just stopped a guy that was, I think, 11-0 in Germany. He's a decent fighter. I think it would be very competitive with Liam Cameron. We've also just signed him. We've got a date that's 8 weeks away. Like it's
What
all
date?
a
What date is that, by the way?
November 29th. You know that?
Oh, I thought that was TKV and Fraser Clark.
No, is that been moved? That's the word. But
I don't know. I was going to ask you about that. That's the
I
rumours.
don't know. Listen, as always, people
Okay.
message you, oh, TKV against Fraser Clark's off. I'm like, is it? One, I don't give monkeys. Two, is it? I don't know. I mean, you hear so much rubbish, so I don't know.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. That it's a show clash
Yeah,
now.
until Boxer announced that, then it is what it is. But I don't care about Ben Whittaker going up against anything because Ben Whittaker's a superstar. With all due respect to Fraser Clark against TKV, I'm watching Ben Whittaker all day long. The guy's got a huge following, and I like the fight that he's in. And actually, it's a good fight against an undefeated fighter who, has got an opportunity. And I expect Ben Whittaker to look $1 million. Now, what you said is right. When you make that investment, you can't get it wrong. So at the moment, Ben Whittaker's miles away from, obviously, from Bivol and Beterbiev and Benavides, but he's also probably 2 fights, 3 fights away from, I'll put Callum in a slightly different mould, but Boatsy, Yard if he gets beat, Lyndon Arthur, Willie Hutchinson. He still needs 1 or 2 fights before he's ready for those guys. He's had 10 fights. and he's been extremely inactive. You know, he linked up with Andy Lee. I think it's a brilliant link up. We got to get it right with Ben, and we will. So with Ben, he'll headline November 29th, hopefully win the WBC silver. That'll put him in the top five, I think, with the WBC. Then he'll fight in America early in 2026, and then he'll headline back home in a bigger fight. And then after that, then we can start talking about all the names that I mentioned.
I love this link up with you and Ben Whittaker. And the video, shout out Alex Haynes, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Chris Eubank had a little say on the comments. What was all that?
Oh, this is not original. I did it. I mean, I mean, does he know it come from a film? Like, we copied it from a film. I don't remember Chris Eubank Jr. doing it. And if he did, I bet he didn't do it very well. So,
Can I ask you an honest question about that video? I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was, obviously it's a replica of the film, but it was a bit out there in terms of context and stuff. Did you and ah about doing it or not?
what was said in it? No, I mean, it's from the film. So, and Ben Whittaker said, I want to, it was completely Ben's idea, the whole thing. Now, don't get me wrong, Alex brought it to life and he did it amazingly.
Brilliant.
But it was Ben's idea. And I was like, Ben, do you want me to say all this stuff in it? And he's like, yeah, you have to. I'm like, all right, I'll just, I mean, this is how good Ben Whittaker is. I'm doing stuff like that. I'm just doing as I'm told, right? As a bit part in a promo video. So, yeah, it was fantastic. If you imagine, obviously, we weren't together when it was filmed. So I did my bit in the office. And Haynes is going to me, louder, Ed, louder. You're my motherfucker. I'm like, you're my motherfucker. And everyone's just pissing themselves. So it's a good bit. It's a bit of fun.
Well,
hopefully it puts a smile on people's face.
I text you straight after. I said it's the best promo I've ever seen, and you, in very Eddie Hearn fashion, didn't even fucking reply, you prick. But it was fucking unbelievable. It was like,
Ben is. I mean, talk about showman. Ben is a fantastic showman, but he can really fight as well. The guy's going to be a superstar.
Do you think you two will get on?
We've always got on.
Yeah, but now you're together. Do you think you'll get on?
I think we'll bounce off each other really, really well. Like, for me, I mean, Simon Jordan said, what did boxer unearthed the star.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this. Yeah, go on.
What the hell is he talking about? What was he, a small hall show fighter that they found this gem, on a show in Macclesfield? No, he was an Olympic silver medalist with the biggest personality in the sport and a massive social media following. I mean, listen, as good as I am, I could promote Ben Whittaker with my eyes closed. He is a promoter's dream. Now I'll show you how to do it properly. I'll show you how to make him a global star.
Can I just tell you some comments that your CEO at Matchroom said to me today? Right. Frank Smith said that the truth of the matter is, give or take a few words, I'm going to tell you what he said. He said that if Boxer had done a better job, Ben Shalom had done a better job with Ben Whittaker, he'd still be there. The fact that
it's always the case. I mean, fighters don't necessarily look to leave. They look to leave because a promise hasn't been delivered or the job's not been done properly. And that's the end of the conversation. If you deliver for a fighter, or if you perform for a fighter, generally they're happy. But, the move for Ben is a massive move for his career and will take him to the very top.
List me two fighters you don't feel like you've delivered for.
I don't feel like I've delivered for. Bloody hell.
Go on. Can I throw in a couple of names or not?
Go on then.
What?
Go on.
Boatsy.
Disagree. I delivered the Bivol fight for Boatsy. I delivered him all the fights perfectly to prepare him for the Bivol fight. He didn't want the Bivol fight.
Lawrence Okoli.
Are you
No,
absolutely
I'm just,
taking
I'm chucking a couple of names in that have left
right?
you.
Lawrence Okoli, right? Who, and I'm not being disrespectful to Lawrence. He stunk the gaff out so many times, right? And I'll tell you one of the reasons he stunk the gaff out was because he was moving so quickly, right? Out of his choice, the team's choice, and because he was a tough fighter to beat. So what was happening with Lawrence is he was getting in these situations where he wasn't experienced enough or good enough or didn't have all the dimensions to perform. So he would have these big arms, boom, can punch. Then he'll grab and hold for dear life because he wasn't comfortable fighting on the inside. He just didn't know enough. He's got better. He's still got that style. But we boxed him on all the big shows. We got him into a position to fight for the world title. We got him as mandatory. He beat some geezer at late notice who come on the Joshua show. I mean, who could hardly stand up. Certainly couldn't stand up when Lawrence hit him with a right hand. And then he went and won the world title at home. I mean, I did the most incredible job for Lawrence Okoli. Anyone else?
Chris Eubank,
Junior?
obviously. Mate, I was there at the signing when you announced him.
Listen,
Adam Booth was his trainer.
he, Chris Eubank Sr. told me time and time again, get me the Gennady Golovkin fight. Get us the Gennady Golovkin fight. Get us the Gennady Golovkin fight. I said, okay. I went away, and what did I do? I got them the Gennady Golovkin fight. And you know what happened? We went for a meeting at the Dorchester Hotel. Me, Adam Smith, Chris Eubank Sr. I want to say my old man was there. I can't quite remember. The fight was done. All right, done. As far as I was concerned. And Chris Eubank Sr. come in and he said, there is one thing that is very important. I won't even do the voice. There is one thing that is very important to me. And I said, right. He said, the commentator for the fight must be Barry McGuigan.
I don't know this story.
I said, sorry. And he went, the commentator must be Barry McGuigan. Someone else and Barry McGuigan. Can't remember who it was, right? And he goes, what about, yeah, Barry McGuigan. I said, no, Barry McGuigan. He was working for ITV at the time or something. I said, no, the fight's on Sky. It's with Sky's commentators. Barry McGuigan works. No, because Barry McGuigan commentated on my fight against Nigel Benn. So that is an absolute condition of the deal. So I had Adam Smith there and Sky. I said, well, guys, and they went, no, like we are doing the production. We will be using our commentary team. And he was like, oh, well, I actually walked out of the meeting. And then I wrote to the lawyer. I said, I've had enough now. This was dragging on for like weeks. I said, the contract's in, all the terms you asked for. You got till 5 p.m. to sign the contract. This was at like 10 a.m. the next morning, I think. And they never come back.
Do you think you could have worked long term with Eubank?
I think we could have done an amazing job on Eubank. Listen, for all our differences, he's a great character, right? He's controversial, he's amusing, he's sometimes intelligent. Like he's got the swag. I always wanted to work with Eubank, but we had this big, like, it wasn't even me and Junior, if I'm honest. Like, we never really gelled. But the problem is his dad always looked at me as this 13 or 14-year-old kid that used to rock around his house in Brighton. And he would call me Edward. And he would sometimes say to my dad, like when we were doing these deals, he would phone my dad and go, your son, I don't, he's not you, Barry. And like my dad would go, Chris, he's the governor. You got to deal with him. So no, but he's not, it's like, so we never got on, me and his dad in the bit. And for some reason, he never really, I don't know, I just didn't gel with him at all. We tried. Um,
Because I look at Eubank and you similar to Whittaker and you in a
yeah,
certain.
I think we could have done really well. But listen,
Oh yeah.
Eubank's done well in his career because he's just fluked his way into so many situations. Like the World Boxing Super Series, he he would literally run into about 10 walls, Eubank Jr., and they didn't know where they were going. And then the World Boxing Super Series come up, and he made an absolute fortune at the time. Like, look at the Ben fight. He's nowhere. He was fighting runouts on the Wasserman show. He had a run out in Saudi, and boom, massive payday twice. So he's always come out smelling the roses, and that's because he has value. You know, you have to say that about him. Eubank is one of the few entertainers in the sport, especially from Britain.
Have you
But
resolved your situation with him?
sorry,
Have you resolved your situation with him?
no,
Still ongoing?
yes,
Okay. Is that going to affect anything or not? Or just that's separate?
in terms of the fight, but it's up to him how he wants to play it. You know, we've sent his team everything, every bit of information that clearly shows what he was doing was talking absolute waffle, and I won't have it. So it's up to him.
Yeah, look, one thing I do know about you is that you take more offense to, not offense, I don't know if that's the right word, but you take things more seriously when it's to do with kind of people talking about your company, even ahead of someone calling you a
People
prick.
get personal all the time.
Yeah.
You're never going to stop people from getting personal. They're arseholes. But you can't just lie about a situation like that. And, you know, I even, it's actually quite just sort of made my heart feel a little bit warm when Carl Frampton came out the other day and kind of backed me. Like, same kind of thing as what you said. I mean, almost, I mean, he didn't say he's a bit of a prick, but one thing he'd never do. But it was a bit like that. You know, it's like, look, I don't, like, it's just the most ridiculous thing to say. And I find that so offensive. One, because it's a stone cold lie. And two, you're accusing me of stopping an ambulance. I still can't believe he said it. Like, do you know what? Like, that is the most wildest accusation. And quite honestly, some people might not get offended by it. I find it so disgusting. Like, and then he doubles down with you and he goes, you know, if it was more serious, someone could have lost their life. So you're telling me that I stopped an ambulance and by doing that, I could have cost someone their life. Don't ever say anything like that. And I won't back down on it.
I remember when someone said, I hope you get hit by a bus.
You fucking wanker. I get some horrible
That was
stuff.
years ago. Do you remember that? You
I
went,
get terrible, terrible. Every now and again when you go for the DMs, I wouldn't even, I
still,
get, I
still.
wouldn't, yeah, it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be, but I wouldn't even read you some of them. They're that sick.
So, Conway,
Anyway,
Conway
you got a
Liddell,
show on Friday. Yeah.
what a fight.
So, what about you? Hold on. Let's just get this message from earlier. Come on, Ed. Just jump on for 20 minutes. Well, how long have we done so far?
Hold on. I love this fight. I
I
love
love
this fight.
this fight. I mean, the narrative of this fight is fantastic. So, Kieran Conway, who I think Darren asked the question today in the presser, it wasn't offensive, but it was very, very direct. Basically said, do you feel that earlier on in your career you weren't turning up to lose, but you were like you weren't really turning up to win, right? And now, yeah, because he didn't. I don't think he believed it. He was going out fighting Ammo Williams on the Canelo card, fighting Sully on the Canelo card at Dallas Cowboys, and now he's sort of dropped back a level to British title, and he's being very aggressive and he's smashing people up, right? George Liddard, who is one of the most improved fighters I've seen. And it was not that he didn't have ability when he turned pro, but I never expected him to be at this level so quickly, looking so good. But he might actually be a little bit naive to the task. And that might actually be a good thing. But you can't just think you're going to walk through Kieran Conway. Like, he's a good fighter. He's getting better. He's very experienced. But George is very good. And it's really going to come down to how good George Liddard is, I think. Because we know how good Kieran is.
Yeah.
Like, you get a British and Commonwealth title fight sometimes. There is no way, I can't, it's impossible that this fight is not a cracker.
I
And
agree.
I love fights like that. Like, can you imagine this fight being anything but a great fight? No. And
Especially
it
if
will,
it's cool.
and the atmosphere will be sensational. And, you know, look, that's a love for the sport. You got Dave Allen, 9,000, Boots, 9,000, then you're back in York Hall. And you love it as much as you do Philly or Sheffield, quite frankly.
Um,
They tell me that that atmosphere for Dave Allen was
mate,
one of the
mate.
best atmospheres in British boxing. Like not like this month. Like people are saying, I've never experienced an atmosphere like that, which I just find so wild, if I'm honest with you.
Well, look, I said to Dave Allen after the fight, obviously, I'm only talking about that arena specifically, that I've been to every Matchroom show at that arena for 15 years. That includes Kell Brook, Lee Wood, whoever's been there. War of the Roses, Matt Hatton and Kell Brook, all them fights. That was the best atmosphere there. It was. I know, like Kell probably won't like to hear that or whatever, but it was in Sheffield. It was unbelievable. You obviously weren't there, but
The
um,
ring, the ring walk got me. Do you know what I mean?
do you wish you was there? I
Yeah,
know
of
you wish you was there.
course. I like, listen, Philly was amazing and Boots was elect. And I said before, like, Boots is the future of our US business. I believe he's pound for pound number one. So it's very difficult, like, to just, where's Eddie? Oh, he's in Sheffield for Dave Allen. It wouldn't have gone down well. But
No, I get
either
it. I think everyone gets it. Yeah.
way,
Dave
but
Allen even said
I was
he'd rather be a Boots than himself.
I was watching the show just like wow, and I loved the show. Padley Bellotti. I mean, we haven't even spoke about it yet. Fawaz against Boston, Hamza looked great. So it was a great night. But Dave, yeah, it was just. I feel like he actually lost not the fight, but lost a little bit of not his soul either, but on the ring walk. Do you know what I mean? I think if he's honest, I've listened to a few interviews where he kind of said that my legs went on the ring walk. I walked out and I was like, what? And that does have an effect on you in a fight like that. But yeah, it was amazing.
Talk to me about round nine.
I mean, Dave is frustrating sometimes because sometimes he doesn't throw enough, but also I felt like he fought the wrong fight in the respect of he wasn't moving his head. Like he took a lot of heavy shots early, and I feel like his plan was to kind of absorb those and beat him down the straight, but he took too much punishment. And round nine was like the time when he really let his hands go. Both hands, 6, 7 punch combination up against ropes. And I feel like if he would have done that consistently in the fight, he would have won the fight. Um, but yeah, I was going nuts, and I imagine the arena was as well, like at that point.
Um, but listen, full credit to Makhmudov as well. He's obviously come out.
That was a good fighter. Like
I
we
mean,
knew, yeah, when we picked that fight, it was a gamble but it was a gamble I feel was worth taking because if he would have won, he would have put himself in a position for, like I said, like a seven-figure fight. But to be honest with you, I didn't get to go the other night. I want to go back and experience it again. So Dave has been driving me mad ever since. Oh, get me on November 29. I'm like, Dave, it's like 7 weeks away, 6 weeks away. Yeah, I'm back in the gym. I said, you need a little bit of a rest. So we'll see what happens this year, but he'll be out. I think the idea is January, an 8 rounder, and then I want to put him in another headline fight in Sheffield. You know, we don't-
Ed, all them fights that were being spoken about, is that dismissed for the minute? Would you say that's fair?
I mean, he's still a good opponent for those guys. Not obviously he lost, so certain level of guys like he could still fight Deontay Wilder.
Yeah,
He
I
could
think
still
so,
fight
yeah.
Derek Chisora. He could still fight Moses Talma. He could still, but
Frank Warren said Adelaide. What do you think about that?
yeah, possibly. I mean, I think Dave, weirdly, Dave has kind of become this massive draw that kind of means that he can pick and choose to a certain level. So we can't afford to lose again. So we need to pick the right opponent. I want to see him win. But obviously, we got to fill the place up again. We can't just go with some random that you've never heard of.
Yeah,
Um,
to be fair, no disrespect to Makhmudov, but most of the Sheffield crowd probably didn't know who Makhmudov was.
I don't know about that. I mean, he fought on.
No,
the
Ed.
heavyweight card against Caballero. He beat Takam on the Fury against Ngannou card. He's boxed on ESPN loads of times. Like, I think that's a little bit.
Yes, I wouldn't be convinced. I wouldn't say no.
And also, by the way, he looks like a Bond villain. He's 6'8" or whatever he is.
Yeah,
20
all that. Yeah, all
kilos.
them boxes are ticked. But what percentage of people do you think actually knew Makhmudov before that fight was announced?
Who went to the arena?
Yes,
Half, quarter, something like that.
I think everyone just went for Dave Allen. I think they just literally turned up for Dave Allen.
Look, I'm not going to go back and headline Dave Allen against Sid Snot from,
Good
you know.
fighter is.
So, but I want to put that. I want to get Dave a good win, and then I want to put him back in a good 50-50-ish fight that we believe he can win. Because I thought he could beat Makhmudov. I really did. I actually felt that was going to be great matchmaking. And most people in boxing thought Dave would win that fight, but he didn't. And Makhmudov boxed well.
Did you get him for the British title at some point? Because that's what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not going to fight Fraser Clark again. There's just no value in that fight. But see what happens with TKV. I would love to see him win a British title, European title. Um, the most important thing is we keep Dave just good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like mentally, emotionally. And Dave's at his best when he's around boxing and when he's in the gym. But I said to him, listen, after a fight like that, you need a rest. Right? Don't, you know that was a tough night's work. You listen to him. Oh, he hurt me repeatedly in the fight, blah, blah, blah. My head's so sore after the fight. Mate, just breathe. So I said to him the other day. But he will be concerned that he, mentally, like all fighters, when they get beat, he's worried that he might spiral a little bit if he doesn't get back in the ring quick. Do you know what I mean? He's got his management business. I want to get him doing some commentary work for Matchroom and DAZN. I think he'd be a great analyst. And listen, we'll get back in the gym in a few weeks' time. Just rest. Spend some time with your family. Go on holiday. Just chill out. Because he's still got a great future in the sport. And you sort of like, if you're pulling crowds like that, you're always going to get opportunities.
Bellotti and Padley. One of the scorecards was very.
Bizarre. Listen, they were all wide, if I'm honest. I mean, makes me laugh. Like, I love Reese, but some of his team's comments, like, oh, we know the game, you know, we know what it is. It's like, what are you talking about? What do you think, that it was a setup that you got beat? No, it was bad scoring. It was a very close fight that you have 6-4. I don't think anyone can score it anything but 6-4 either way, or a draw. Like, Reese controlled the early part of the fight. Padley came right back into it at the end. And I thought Reese gave a lot of those rounds away. When the final bell went, we were all sitting there. I think I had it a draw. I think Bellew had it to Bellotti by one. Carl had it a draw. Someone had it to Padley where we were sitting. It was just one of those fights. The problem is you get a scorecard like that and you just go, and everyone goes mad. And it was a good fight. And people just talk about the scoring. But I do like Steve Gray's a really good referee and a really good judge. And I don't think Steve Gray would have a problem with talking about his scorecard. Bellew talks about this all the time. You should be made to sort of give your opinion. I mean, box scoring subjective. So Steve Gray saw what Steve Gray saw, but no one else saw that apart from Steve. But there's probably a reason for that. And Steve's very articulate. He knows his boxing inside out. He probably would have given a quite a good interview with you to say, to be honest with you, this is what I saw. Bellotti was coming forward a lot, but Padley was doing the need to work. I felt like he was scoring more, blah, blah, blah. That's it. But I don't know, it was a weird one. And it kind of spoiled what was a really good fight. And I think everyone can talk. Padley, oh, I won that fight. 7 for it. Reese, oh, I won that. I think the reality is both guys probably thought they nicked a close fight, and the scorecards were all over the shop. They weren't good at all, in my opinion. But again, subjective.
Bilal and Boston.
Just unbelievable. I mean, again, you talk about Junaid. Junaid's a young man, right? And he's had a pretty tough fight in America. He had the draw against Fawaz last time around, and Fawaz is better than English title level. I think he's British title level, right? He's very awkward, plays a lot of mind games, can mess with you in the build up, and you know, and Junaid, the heart that Junaid showed to come back from that, I mean, he was hurt bad in that fight, and he came right back in it, and he could have won the fight. I mean, that was another 6-4 either way kind of fight, but obviously he was hurt badly in the fight, and I think sometimes that's the eye-catching stuff. But Junaid will come again, 100%. When you're in great fights like that, the defeat doesn't hurt you too much. The victory gives you loads of new opportunities, but the defeat doesn't really hurt you that much. He sold a load of tickets, he showed a load of heart, and he's a young man that will come again.
Hamza Uddin done very
Oh,
well.
yeah. I mean, again, like, you know, me and Sam Jones, sometimes we're like, he's so passionate about his fighters. And sometimes he, I see it differently to Sam. And these fighters get opportunities on their slots on the main card and before the bell based on what they've been doing and the buzz that's been created around them. And the last couple of performances from Hamza, the last one was decent, but just were a little bit stale. So we gave him the main card slot and he was fantastic. And that's where he's going to stay now. Like there's no backward steps from there. I want to see him fight for the British title. I think he's going to have a little bit of work done to his hand, and they'll be back early next year. But he's a star, Hamza. Great fighter, great to watch, and I want to see him move forward now.
Alongside your Birmingham card, you announced probably the best card that you've announced in Monaco since you've been
Unbelievable.
there. Very
Yeah.
good card. 50-50s all the
And
way.
that is, I mean, McGrail Masood, Conor Walker against Pat McCormack, Beatrice Ferreira against Elif Turhan, which probably, I think, that's up there with one of the best fights in female boxing. Johnny Fisher back as well. Mikalev against Sean McCone. That is an unbelievable night. We've got a mad time
Best
coming up.
card that you put on in Monaco, Frank
Yeah,
said.
by far, top to bottom. I mean, look at the run coming up. Friday night, York Hall. November 1st, Orlando. Perro against Jordan Thompson. Pat Brown, great card out there. November the 8th. November the 15th, Ben Eubank. November the 22nd, Saudi Arabia for an unbelievable night, Ring of Fire. November 29, Birmingham, Ben Whittaker. Vong versus Gwyn on that as well. I mean, great presser on Friday, actually, with those two as well. December the 6th, Monaco, unbelievable. December the 13th, Stockton, Pacheco, Flores, and others. December 20, something else will be announced shortly. And December 27 is the Riyadh event, the Japanese
Right.
fight. Yeah. So it's mental running.
Right. I'm just going to quickly, 3 more minutes and I'll let you go.
Good.
AJ, what's going on, mate? Come on. Don't say.
Well, it's his birthday today.
Is
Look, all I can say is he's ready to fight.
he going to fight this year? I've heard loads of whispers about different situations he could be fighting. By the way.
So there is a chance he could run out this year. It's probably unlikely, but he's ready to fight and he's in camp.
When you say run out, do you mean like he could just be on a card that's coming up?
Could just be. Like, we're not going to put him in a headline event this year. So if he wants to get out in a lower key fight, and sometimes you got to remember, he last fought over a year ago, right? Every time he fights, he has to go into a stadium, fill it up, fight so and so, fight so and so. Fight. There is a part of him that goes, "Do you know what? I'd just like to get in there and just like I don't need all the razzmatazz. Just let me go in there, wrap my hands, and crunch someone." Because when we fight in February, we're going to be back in a stadium or a massive arena. But
Mental. That's crazy, though.
listen, it's crazy if you don't have vision.
Like, it's Joshua. Like,
It doesn't matter. What do we need? We don't need the money. We need
does he
preparation.
want to just get out? Does he just want to get out?
No, we want the preparation to be the best we can be. And if we feel that run out is going to put us in good stead for February, which won't be an easy fight. And more importantly, will gear us up to be the best we can be to hopefully fight Tyson Fury. That's called an investment in yourself. Yeah. And actually, the fact that AJ is even considering that route goes to show you where his head's at and how seriously he's taking it. Most fighters at his level go, how much is that? Well, what it's just he goes, look, we need to get this right. So I don't know if it'll happen. Maybe not. But it's definitely something that's been discussed.
What's the crack with Africa at the moment then? What's the update on that?
We're
Ghana,
talking.
Nigeria,
We're
wherever.
talking. We may do an event there pre-AJ,
Mm.
maybe in December. Um, and then February time, maybe we'll be back there to see AJ headline.
It's October the 15th now. When ideally, and I love asking this question, when ideally do you want, whether he's fighting this year, whether what he's doing, locked in?
Well, if he's fighting this year, it'll have to be locked in the next week,
Okay.
basically.
Okay. Right. Atalma Pulev being ordered. What do you reckon? What do you think about
I mean, the belt's a waste of time, if I'm honest.
that? Is it?
What, the WBA regular? I mean, but no, no, sorry, it's not a waste of time because it'll give you a decent rankings division. Don't call it the world heavyweight title, please. Like,
Listen, I think if you had some fighter fighting for that, you'd call him a
no,
world.
because we were going to do Pulev against Dave Allen,
And
and
if
I said to
Allen
Dave,
won, you'd call him a world
no,
champion.
absolutely not in a million years. Um, look, I just think
You
styles
used
make
to call the silver champion of WBC a world champion. You?
quite club.
I'm only joking. Go on.
It's the worst style for Pulev. Like, it's such a catastrophic mismatch.
Mm.
I get it, and I don't think it's the worst move for Moses. But what's Pulev, 40 odd? He's so slow as well. I know he's a tough man and that, but can you imagine Moses will ping him everywhere because of how good Moses is? So you got to get the right stuff. I don't know why. I thought Moses Frank Sanchez would have been a good fight. That fight was ordered by the IBF. That would have made Moses mandatory challenger for the
Talking
IBF.
about Hunter as well. That would have been a good fight, wouldn't it? For
Anyone that's got a bit of speed, because otherwise Moses is just too fast.
Frank's obviously suggesting a lot of these fighters want a
Well,
ridiculous amount of money.
Frank's not lying. That is the case. You mentioned Mo, like obviously when you promote someone like that and everyone's talking about him as the next this and that, and he's making a lot of money, all the opponents want loads of money. It's really hard to match heavyweights. We had a great heavyweight fight, to be honest with you, in Philadelphia between Guido Vianelli and Alexis Beret. Beret was our guy, he lost, but it was a really good, fun fight because there's not really a lot of options for those guys. You've got to kind of step up, and no one's going to want to fight Moses unless they get a fortune.
I watched your clip about Boots and Crawford, Max Kellerman talking about that.
Yeah.
How likely or not likely?
It's only likely when there's massive money in it for Crawford
Mm.
because Crawford knows how good Boots is. Crawford will also think he can beat Boots, by the way. It's not like he's scared of him, but he will want a certain amount of money for that fight. And at the moment, that money's not there because Boots isn't big enough. But he will be in 6 or 9 months' time. I'm just putting it out there. Tell me a better fight in boxing that involves Terence Crawford than Terence Crawford against Boots. A realistic fight that can be made.
Do you think he can beat Crawford?
I do. But I'm a massive Boots fan. Don't forget, he's 10 years younger than Terence Crawford. 10 years younger. So we got work to do. And it's all very well me shouting my mouth off. He's pound for pound number one in the make. We got to have the resume to match it. And that's something that I'll be working very hard on.
Frank Warren's also made comments in the last week that indicating we will see obviously Tyson Fury next year, etc., etc. But I mean, you're just fixated on one fight there, aren't you, with Tyson?
Not really. We're going to do what we're going to do. The fight that we want is Tyson Fury. The fight that Turkey wants is Tyson Fury against AJ. So we'll leave it to him. We're not talking to Frank or Spencer or Tyson Fury about AJ Fury. That's for them to speak to His Excellency, and we'll do the same. but there's nothing bigger. So fingers crossed.
Parker Wardley, what do you reckon?
It's a good fight. You know, I think Parker's a big favourite, but how many times have we written off Fabio Wardley? You know, he's a very good fighter. He's got big balls. He can punch. I think the style is suited to Parker, but Fabio's really sharp and he's always going to be in the fight.
All right. Fuck me, I don't know how this has been, but it's been good. I think this is one of our best interviews we've done, to be fair.
I think people are going to moan and say, "Oh my God,
Oh my God,
what
about what? About what?
oh God, it's like a therapy session." Oh, you
No.
haven't asked me to do a thumbnail yet?
Can you do an angry one?
No,
No, because I'll find one anyway. No, that's no.
I'm not doing angry.
Please. Angry sells. How about
No, I
um
haven't got not got the guns for it. What about something like that?
no, mouth open. You don't know how thumbnails work. Oh, I had a question to ask you, actually. I was at the Matchroom show the other day. Do you know what a KDM is?
KDM? No.
So, Matchroom Protocol, which I learnt the other day at shows, a KDM is a key decision maker.
Oh, right, okay.
You know about this? You fucking should.
Yeah, I know what a key decision maker is. I've never called it a key KDM before.
Right, well, here's a KDM. So, when you look, obviously, Matchroom are like militant with their like passes. Look, I've still got them.
Oh my God.
Got my lid hard, my pass today, right, on my wrist.
I thought that was from Saturday. I'll let you off.
No, but basically, on the list of like who's allowed to wear like working passes and all this, the top one above, I think it's above an AAA, is key decision maker. So I was going around and asking who's the key decision
I
maker?
don't know.
Apparently,
Frank
'cause
Smith.
it's you,
Frank Smith.
Frank Smith, and
Ross Garrison.
and John. Oh, well, and Ross as well, yeah.
Yeah. John Hill.
Yeah, and John Hill. Shout out those two. But
Learn something every
key
day.
decision maker.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
One day, will you let me be a key decision maker?
Absolutely not. No. Never.
What do you think is going to happen?
As a key decision
Yeah,
maker.
what do you think is going to happen? What do you think I want to go and do to alter your whole night? Nothing.
Please. Please. All right, see you Friday.
Eddie, see you Friday, live on the
Come
zone.
now.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's a good one. Ready?
weirdo. Eddie Hearn, thank you very much.
This sport, you don't wait for judges to decide your fate. TenexToken puts you in control. Stake instantly, speculate discreetly, and keep your moves private. TenexToken. Play smart, play discreet.